And the stupidity of advertising and the insanity of acting. Your time is a precious gift given to you by the glory of God. So if you have an egomaniac that wants to manipulate people to feel powerful, so they have actors and people acting, and you have to sit here after having a mundane existence and being abused all day, come and live vicariously by people acting on TV to give you people that you think you care about. You care about something because you have no real time to really develop a relationship that's caring and intelligent. Okay. On your own. Right. You're constantly being, you watch those kids that are all successful on TV. He speaks 5 different languages. He takes 14 different classes. He's going for his 3rd doctorate. It's like, okay, how about a garden with kids that appreciate the garden in the Garden of Eden? Right. Everything you have that you need, you put at risk because of what you think you want, right? It's total global insanity, man. It's insane. We need to come up with better mechanization to do every time we come up with better mechanization. Don't you think if we kept our priorities in line that our mechanization would be better than the bullshit we have now? Yeah. Those big, huge, disgusting, opulent buildings that they built to the delusions of their insanity. I hate big, opulent buildings. I like houses built to last with families that love each other. But big, opulent buildings for mass murderers to have their delusions of power, I have no desire to go to the White House. No desire to go to the Capitol building. No desire at all. Okay? But to live in a house where children are loved, yeah. I have all kinds of desires for people to do and feel like that. To be on a commercial where you're waiting in line for pharmacy for drugs to survive hell, and you're upset because the guy's buying ceramic dolphins, and then people saying, hey, you need this Italian food. If I need it, I'll make it. When we share caregiving according to the built to last like King Solomon, we make sure that people have what they need. And we make sure that it's what we have is built to last, and then it takes care of things real well, and we share it with great compassion and intelligence. Nothing built cheap because you're trying to save a buck because you want to be millionaire or billionaire, you know what I mean? Things are built well and to last because they're built to sustain people through loving one another, right? Guys have never... Does anybody understand Psalms but me? Anybody but me? Every Bombas socks will donate one to poor people. You have supermodel feet in there. Fuck you. Okay, fuck you. People need socks, give them socks. Does anybody understand Proverbs but me? Okay. You guys are millions of years in the making. Okay. So you are the way you are because of the choices you have made in molecular similitude, in spirit, for 100,000 years. Like Einstein explained to those wackadoodles that were supposed to be his peers back in the day when he was trying to get them to understand relativity. Oh, I'm not convinced. Okay. You're not convinced in eternity? Okay. Feynman was broken. He had a very interesting mind. He could look at things and explain things to you a little bit like Krishnamurti, but do it in more detail to where it was more broken down into what was considered complex to make it not seem simple at all. Okay, where Krishnamurti would say, well, here, because, he would say, here's what scientists are talking about, and here's what religious people are allegedly supposed to be talking about, and here's pragmatism and common sense, and let's do that. Okay. I love Suzuki and Judy. They're such good guys. Haile Selassie is very similar. He just when you have to deal with people that will kill you if you don't agree with their egos and their mythology, it's very hard to have conversations with people that people don't sit there and say, he said that, he said this, right? If you don't want them to murder you in your sleep, you have to try to find ways to have conversations with them that can get them to, I pardon you. Okay. Hey, Schindler, you got a list? You know what I'm saying? Okay. So you got to really understand the dynamic of people before you judge somebody and say, you said this. Yeah, I didn't want poor people to be mass murdered by jerks like you. I did say something that sounded like I was a hypocrite, but how many times in the military and in school and so on and so forth have I had to sit there and go, okay, how do I say this without them going off the rails and killing hundreds of thousands and millions of people? That didn't work during COVID. They were going to do it anyway. Okay. No matter what I said and did, they were going to do that anyway. Okay. Every time I got in their and screwed up their plans during the technological do-goodagas from the time that I got here with the kids, they'd still, okay, we're still going to kill the people we need to kill. It's not you don't need to kill, you want to kill. Okay. You're addicted to feeling powerful. You're a sick pile of shit. Okay. If you need to do blood offerings, if you need to do sacrifices, which we do, because you keep the wolves, you get the wolves. The reason why the wolves almost went extinct is because if they become too many, they will try to hunt you out of existence. Okay? Velociraptors, T-Rexes. Okay, but you're a human being. You're not an animal. You can understand balance and harmony, share, care, given accordance to need, built to last, life's eternal, grace is infinite. I'm pretty sure it was hard for a T-Rex to, not the mama, that was just an idiot selling you products because their brain is broken. Okay, do you understand? So it's pretty insane. It's very insane, and I'm sick and tired of it, and I don't know why you guys aren't. Oh, they're addicted to it. Never mind, addicts. Okay, never mind. Me personally, I love sports. Sports is fun when it's fun. I like to have fun. I like to play. Okay. When it gets vicious and, like old Whitey Kaufman and Manny Treviso and Jimmy Oliver, they were assholes. Okay. Coach Fine was an asshole. Coach Spitzer was, because he was my... that was horrible timing thing. He was the choir coach, and I didn't want to sing. And they put me in choir and required I sing, and I said, I don't want to, and I just started getting mad about it, and I got belligerent about it. So I do not want to sing and be critiqued in front of other people. And I got upset about it, and he got mad because I didn't want to do it. And I thought to myself, singing in front of other people is not a requirement for extortion and exploitation. Okay. I understand that I have to do math or they'll rip me off at the grocery store. They'll rip me off at the bank for financing my home and all that stuff and everything like that. But if I choose not to sing in front of people to pay my bills, that should be, that's not something I should be forced to do. Like, the thing with physical education with sports, I didn't think all the kids that didn't want to do it should be forced to participate, but you have to because it's healthy. I don't like playing baseball. I don't like playing soccer. I'm not any good at it. They make fun of me. Okay, what do you want to do? So PE should be something, well, you have to do something an hour a day that's healthy, but it can't be repetitive to where it becomes something that injures you. Or then you get the job as the weightlifting coach, the gymnastics coach, or the basketball or football coach, right? So you get... You have to understand what's healthy and what's not healthy, excessive and compulsive. That's why in 2017, when I challenged them and I got in really good shape, and then I was chemically poisoned to the point that people thought I was an alcoholic and a drug addict and abused me because the military abused me. God, what a bunch of assholes. Yeah, but they're trained to be assholes. They're trained to be skeptical. Well, this guy says that, but they all lie. All drug addicts lie. All alcoholics lie. But we knew for sure. My dad knows. No, Earl was not doing drugs and alcohol. He was drinking. He was going back and forth to the soup kitchen to get food. That's where I did it, a Community of Hope. Yeah. But there was no evidence to support that. None whatsoever. Okay. The things that caused all this physical nerve damage and stuff in my body and getting this, I do have a horrible allergic reaction to the synthetic toxins from my vaccine for COVID, which I'm still recovering from because it's laborious to get it out and it's painful and it's uncomfortable. And during the Obama administration, or during the Biden administration, the military had people believing, that I sat and looked at the situation and said, if they had us, you have to show your vaccination, your card. And I said, well, Dad, I don't want Dad to have to go shopping because I can't shop because I didn't get vaccinated. Because, you have to wear that stupid mask and he's older and stuff. So I will go get vaccinated. I got vaccinated and then they didn't have us required to show our vaccination at the stores. But the Biden administration was saying they were going to do that. It's like, wow, So I went and got a vaccination that I know I'm allergic to most vaccinations. But I got it and said to them, well, if it's not necessary for me to have one because of my healthy immune system, then just make sure that I get a saline shot or a placebo shot, something, but they didn't do that. They gave me the Moderna vaccine. Okay. And I'm the guy like Jesus that saves people from mass murder. But they crucified Jesus, right? And they crucified all of his fellowship that they could find, right? They mass murdered them. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. Okay. Imagine being a propagandaturbag for the TV for the Copenhagen test on the peacocks, right? Imagine being, I don't envision, I don't think about it. I try not to connect to famous people anymore. I try not to talk to them anymore. I did to their kids, but their kids have gotten older and it's hard to talk to their kids because their kids are so indoctrinated by their parents' business partners. So it's just, occasionally it slips in here and there, but I try not to think about it. Just like with my own kids, their mothers have alcohol and substance abuse issues. And the kids ended up with their mothers and behave a lot like their mothers. And I don't have those issues. And then trying to help my kids through hell and saying, I raised you better. But I didn't get to raise them. They were taken away and given to the people that abused their mothers. Instead of get to live with the man that stood up to stop the abuse of their mothers. Right? So I know how gorgeous I am. You don't have to tell me twice. I'm not on a commercial trying to sell Yuki Simta and bullshit like that. I'm not an asshole. I'm not in the NHL, the NFL, FIFA, NBA. I'm not in a corporation that needs you to be a distracted, stupid, sallow, superficial human being to buy my music or watch my movie, right? Or Impractical Jerkers. This is funny. Why is it funny? A bunch of lowbrow idiots get together and distract people with stupidity while they're being extorted and exploited. So they end up on television so we can watch Leonardo DiCaprio and Sean Penn pretend to be something they're not, and no one would want to be what they're pretending to be if they had a lick of sense in their fucked up little heads, right? One battle after another, HBO Max, new movies. Why do you want to watch these assholes give their time away to indoctrinate you into giving your time away? It's just stupid. I used to do it too, man. I used to watch the Iron Man movies. I used to watch I used to have crushes on Janet Jackson, Jennifer Lopez. What else did I have a big crush on? Winnie Cooper is cute. Isn't she cute? Didn't you think she was cute on the Big Bang Theory with the Hulk hand and the Hulk hands and the yeah, I always thought she was cute when she was young. She grew up to be a pretty lady. Yeah, she's a cutie pie. Nice figure. Yeah. So she's a cutie pie. Yeah. Crush on her? No, not really. I was married, and she was young, and I was older, and I was like a dad. So that's a cute girl. Like Patrick did with, the one. What's his name? Marshall Mathers. Hilary Duff, if you were older, I'd tell you to make my slinky go, but he said it. Okay. He said it. Okay. And then Patrick had a crush on Shelby Woo. The other kids used to watch The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, right? Is that Macaulay Culkin's wife? I think so. I don't pay much attention. I didn't have a crush on her either. Who else did I have a crush on? Angie Bassett, yes. Who else did I have a crush on that's still around and doing things? Halle Berry, kind of, yes. She would just put me through PTSD because of my time with Flonda. But she's cute, right? So, yeah, kind of, but she just put me through PTSD. When I watched Monsters Ball, it just reminded me of Yolanda and put me through PTSD. And then a lot of the Jennifer Lopez movies put me through PTSD because my situations were worse, but I was her. Situations were worse than enough? Yeah, because it was the whole U.S. military and they were jealous of me because I'm better than them. Okay. That's way worse than what happened on Enough. I couldn't get away from them. I didn't get any justice. I get no peace. Way worse than Enough. Okay. Any movie that woman's ever been in, my life, you magnify it like 10,000 fold and say, and it's still fucking happening. Puts me through PTSD. What can I say? Get over yourself. I'm a black man in America coaching a Navajo basketball team in Utah, right? Get over yourself. Fuck you all. Okay. You get over yourself and freedom, right? Lori Spur, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. That's why I'm the living embodiment of it. So there we go. Gets us right back to Psalms and Proverbs. So we're doing, we're feeling good. We could, we should, we would stop. Think for a moment, okay? And now sway why I convey that you got to do. I'm doing away with it. I'm working on it. I'm taking care of it. When the time comes, we'll find out who will stand up for the Lord's Prayer with me and who will not. And when the technology is corrected, anywhere you go, my whole crew gonna know, hey baby, cause I got a lot, right? Price is Wrong, bitch. I was watching Bob Barker. Yeah, we watched that all summer, Of course, we had to watch The Young and the Restless and General Hospital too, because Linda was into those stupid things. That's when a lot of times I just, I was really disturbed with Luke and Laura. It's like he raped her on an island. And now they're boyfriend and girlfriend. Okay, that's just not right. Okay, he raped her. That disturbed me, particularly when I was a kid. It's like, Linda, why are we watching this? And the other thing with Jill Foster bugged me. Because Jill Foster was like a domestic for the Chancellors. Mrs. Chancellor was an older woman, and the younger guy obviously married her for her money. And she was a drunken bitch because he cheated. And then Linda's all, well, Jill needs to get with Mr. Chancellor. Why? Mr. Chandler's a fucking asshole. And then there's an accident that kills Mr. Chandler that Mrs. Chancellor was responsible for. And you kind of like, I get it. Then Mrs. Chancellor ends up fronting Jill's pan to become Mrs. Chancellor. And I'm kind of like watching it. It's like, huh? How karmic? Oh, it's karmic. I get it. And I was watching it, and Linda's all rooting for Jill Foster to become Mrs. Chancellor. I was like, why? Mr. Chandler's a rogue. He's disgusting. Mrs. Chandler is at least she comes to terms with it and tries to drink herself to death because she knows she's a miserable human being. I just looked at things differently as a kid. Okay, guys, I love you guys. All right, peace out, man.